What's going on, guys? Dave from Betsome, and I'm here to go over our Week 2 first look quick picks for this week, Week 2 of the NFL 2020 season. Last week we cashed for about $850 out of the $2,200 spent. Sold our action on Draftkings, so had a couple really good lineups. Had a bunch of Aaron Rodgers with Devontae Adams and Cook and Thielen on the comeback. Unfortunately, our cheap plays didn't quite pan out yesterday, but we're back here for more and ready to win some money on Week 2. Don't forget to check us out on StakeKings.com, where we sell our action for DFS and for poker, where you can buy that action and sweat with us live, and if we win, you win. That's a great way to support this channel. You can also check us out on Patreon, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And here's the first look at a few of the plays that we were talking about and that we like for Week 2 NFL. Okay, so at quarterback position, you could chase Rodgers here at 6,900. I definitely think that's a great play. I mean, he just needs to get 28. I think he is always a great play if he's under owned. But I do think that people will be playing him. He's got a good matchup and he had a great week. So this Matt Ryan and Dak Prescott game will be pretty popular. I think Tom Brady is a pretty cool play right here. If you're looking for an under owned quarterback that can get a lot of points, I think you can buy him while he's low. Sean Watson might be a little overlooked in what might become a shootout. Big Ben, I like too for that same reason. Kyler Murray is going to be probably pretty popular. I really like Carson Wentz to have a bounce back against the Rams. I also like Goff to have a game in that. But I'm actually going to go in this first look. I'm going to go with Rivers. Green Bay just tore up Minnesota's secondary last week. And Rivers had a great game. He had about 400 yards, not many touchdowns, but he did have a lot of yards and he looked great. They kind of fell apart towards the end there, but I'm going to go back to him, and I do think he's going to be relatively under owned, like literally 2% again, just like last week. And he's a super easy stack with Hilton, who I actually really liked last week, and he only got 7.5 points. He had him in like the first quarter, and then he just completely fell off. But I'm going to go back to these two. I think they're still going to have a huge season. Rivers threw for almost 400 yards. It's a shame that more of them didn't go to Hilton, but I believe that will happen this season in a big way. As far as tight end goes, I'm also going to stack Doyle, but we'll go over a few tight ends that I also like. But I'm going to go a triple stack here with Rivers. Doyle didn't quite pan out last week either, but he didn't do too bad, getting 8 points for that price. It's not like he kills you. But yeah, I expect big things for all three of these players this season. At running back, I have 4 plays that I really like. If you want to go expensive, you could go Zeke or Derrick Henry, and I also love Aaron Jones. So I'm going to go Aaron Jones, and I'm also going to go Ezekiel Elliott in this lineup. But I really do like in the higher price bracket Derrick Henry as well. If you wanted to go cheaper, I think Kenyon Drake is a good play. At home in a smash spot versus Washington, sub 6K. I think that's pretty solid. David Johnson's an interesting play. I think he'll be pretty under-owned if you're looking to differentiate there, but I don't think it's a great play. They're going to fall behind too much, and it's a tough defense to begin with. You do have these indie running backs like Hines and Taylor that will benefit from Mack being absent. I think a lot of people are going to chase that play. But if I went this range, like 5K range, I would go Ronald Jones, who is playing Carolina, who's not good against the defense or against the run. And he also showed last week that Fournette is not quite going to be, the lead back yet. Ronald Jones got the 17 carries, and they were behind. So he probably would have gotten a lot more if they were ahead. So with that price on that high-powered offense in that spot, I think he's a great play at 5,200. So we'll keep him in mind. Maybe we'll put him in the flex. But if you're looking to go cheap, I like him there. So I would bring this specific lineup back with Thielen now that we have Rivers and Hilton. But you could also bring it back with Cook. Cook's away. I do think that they should be beating Indianapolis the majority of the time. Didn't look at the line yet, but I imagine that Minnesota's gonna be like -4, -3, -3.5, something like that. So I do think that it's a good chance there to bring back Cook. I don't think that's bad at all. But if you're looking kind of for a little bit more of a reasonable comeback, I think the away receiver is going to be the better one in Adam Thielen. Let's go for defense now. And I think the best expensive defense would be the Packers at home. In this lineup, I would stack them with Aaron Jones because I think they're both in great spots. However, if I were looking for a cheaper lineup, I would probably go for, if I was looking for bottom of the barrel cheap, I would pick Miami's D at home versus the Bills. They're a division game and they could surprise people. And Josh Allen takes a lot of sacks, throws a lot of picks, fumbles. He had 2 fumbles last week against the Jets D. The Jets D scored 7 points against them, and they got throttled, and they almost 4x. So same idea here with the Dolphins, except actually a little bit better of a spot than the Jets were in. So if you're looking to go cheap, I like the Dolphins. If you're looking to go expensive, there's all these guys, but middle of the pack, I think Green Bay at 3,300 is just as good as some of these higher priced ones. Again, at tight end, we have Doyle in this lineup because we're stacking with Rivers. I think Hawkinson is a good play again, just because if Galladay's out, if you got a Green Bay lineup going, maybe it's good to bring him back with Hawkinson. I've never liked Kittle, not gonna lie. I think Zach Ertz at 5,600 is a great price. I know he's battling with Goddard, but with Alshon Jeffrey still out, I think Zach Ertz is always in play, always a GPP play that could get you 30 if he just has a game. It does suck that Goddard is in there. That being said, I like Goddard too. I think he had a monster last week, and I always kind of like him, but I know he didn't. He only had 14. Or no, that was from last year. Sorry. Anyway. I think HURST though is the best play for mid range. I think that in his first game here of the season, he had 5 targets, 40 yards, and I think that Matt Ryan is going to be looking to him like he looked to Austin Hooper, who like a third of the time last year would just go off, and the other 2/3 of the time he wouldn't really do too much. But I think HURST is going to fill that role. I think 4,600 is a good price for that role. Now, Fant is another interesting play. He just played earlier tonight. This is Monday night, and he had a huge game, and this price does not reflect that yet. And they may be in a shootout with Pitt where they're down, and Locke certainly showed that he liked Fant in this game. So I think that Fant is a really cool play at 4,400. I don't think he'll be that popular. I think he'll be more popular than he should, just because of that price and the game he had. But I think that if you're looking to go cheaper, then he's for sure the play. But you can't go cheaper than Doyle and get a better value. So I'm going to stick with that in this lineup. So for our last wide receiver and flex, we need cheap people here. So the first person I'm going to look to is Preston Williams, who I liked last game. He didn't have a huge game. I think he had 2 catches for 20 yards or for 40 yards. So he had 6 points. But he did have 7 targets, and he is the #1 option for Fitzpatrick, believe it or not. Before he got hurt last year, he was absolutely crushing, and he proved in game 1 that he was Fitzpatrick's favorite target again. They didn't quite connect, but it was a tough Patriots defense. And now Devontae Parker may or may not be out. If he's out, I'm definitely playing Preston Williams. I'm sure the public will a little bit as well. But if Parker's in, I'll still be playing Preston Williams. I think he's up 300 from last week, but I still think he's a great cheap play. And last but not least, we have this flex spot, and I need to do a deeper look at these cheaper guys before I just go off and tell you, oh, I like this guy, I like that guy. I still think Cam Akers is a great play at his price. We can't afford him in this, but it's not a bad idea if you can also to go 2 tight end set like a Fant and a Doyle, but can't afford that here anyway. So what we're going to do for the sake of this first look is we're going to move down to that Dolphins D that I liked, and we're going to take Ronald Jones in the flex. I think that he, like I said before, is the proven #1 there on what should be a high-powered offense once they get it together in an absolute smash spot. That's it for today's quick picks or first look at week 2. Like I said, don't forget to check us out on DraftKings and buy some of our action and sweat with us on Sundays, and we'll see you there.